Okay, so and welcome everyone to the Fit for Business Life podcast, brought to you in partnership with Sharp Fit for Life and the Business Body Network, improving the performance and transforming busy or overweight professionals, business owners and consultants along with their teams to become fitter, happier and more confident. The Fit for Business Life podcast is all about sharing passion, know-how and expertise around business and personal performance. From our host, myself, Martin Sharp, a 30-year change maker in businesses large and small, and Dominic Furness, a world traveller and life enthusiast, plus special guests sharing their knowledge and experience in making changes in business and in themselves. Featuring inspirational stories, insights, tips, and practical knowledge, bringing a more healthier, happier, and higher achievement to your world.
Why not follow this podcast? We are live on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. If you are watching this on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button and drop us a like. We very much appreciate all your support.
So sit back and enjoy this episode of Fit for Business and Life podcast, brought to you in partnership with Sharp Fit for Life and the Business Body Network.
Right, let's get into it. So you just finished your Leeds marathon. So that's 3 of 3. Well done.
Yeah, that's it. 3 of 3. I can stop running.
Yeah, retirement.
Oh God, no! Well, there's no retirement, is there? I mean, and I think this is the interesting part. It has absolutely changed fundamentally what I'm going to be doing on a week by week basis.
Yeah, you think? In what way?
Well, I think prior to this, obviously, I wasn't running, so that's number one. And I think I'm actually enjoying doing the running. I'm enjoying the training as much as I was actually enjoying doing the events. And we've got a few more events coming up. We've got the York 10K in August, the Leeds 10K in June, and we've got the Yorkshire Marathon in October as well. So there's a few more dates already in the diary. But actually, I really am enjoying just getting out there and doing a bit of running as well. So
yeah, so the training. You got a training run today as well. Day after, of course, active recovery again.
Yeah, so another 15-minute run to do. And then, yeah, so the key thing now is all about recovery. My body is absolutely
yeah, you seem like I've been hit by a train this time round. I guess because you've also got the mental, you don't have the mental, it's not a barrier, but like in previous ones, you knew you had to be fine, you had to be fit and healthy for another marathon again the next week. So you couldn't like hit the brakes.
No, you're absolutely right. I can hit the brakes a little bit now, but not for long. I mean, we've now got the Kilimanjaro challenge coming up in September, so climbing up Kilimanjaro. So that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah,
so
which if you want to be a part of that challenge, by the way, I can put a link down in the comments if you want to.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
Hop on a discovery call or something about that if you're up for it.
Yeah, I like that idea. Why don't? Yeah, let's do that. That sounds cool. So it's not like it's a stop, and then obviously we've got a few goals as well in between. So we've got some hill walking, got the Wainwrights. We've still got those to take a few more of those off the box.
3-peak challenge this year.
Yeah, got the national 3-peak challenge doing in June. Yeah.
So
that's going to be quite amazing. So looking forward to that one as well. So it's not like it's a stop, but it certainly is a bit of a ease the pressure off a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And the same for me because I've blown my ankle out skateboarding, of course. Like, I think we had a podcast episode like maybe in season 1 a few years ago, actually, about that. Done it again on the other side, but not as badly, thankfully. But hopefully, I can rest and recovery as well and be back to it, so I can also do the 3 peaks. That would be great. We'll have a race to who can recover faster.
I think it will be. You're definitely hobbling as badly as I am at the moment.
Yeah. Not great.
But hopefully, like I say, hopefully you haven't done the damage you've done in previous years.
Definitely not. It's not the colour of the rainbow, so I think that's a positive sign.
Yeah, good. But bringing it back to the marathon, what a day. What an absolutely fabulous day.
Yeah, like, how was it? I know, like you said privately, that by mile 20, you kind of like hit a real wall at that point.
Oh, God, yeah. Let's probably start at the beginning rather than jumping straight into mile 20. But
I don't know. We're taking this Tarantino style.
Tarantino. Are we going to go back in time a bit later then?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the plan.
In which case, yeah, let's start mile 20. So yeah, we got up to the top of the Shevin Hill. So if you guys who don't know Yorkshire that well, it is an absolutely gorgeous, beautiful place, and probably one of the best parts of Leeds Marathon is you get to run out into the countryside. You start off in the city centre, and you're basically just running out into the country. And when you kind of get to that 13 miles out, well, in fact, it's closer than that. You're probably only around about 7 to 8 miles away. It is really, really nice. You're just in the green, luscious land. It was a beautiful day, so beautiful blue skies, little tiny clouds in the sky. It looked like almost like a kid's painting. And on one of the parts is you drop down into the valley down by Otley, which means you go down the Chevin, and the opposite side means you have to go back up it as well. So this is a few 100-meter climb up. I think it felt like I was running for 2.5, maybe 3 miles, literally uphill.
Yeah, I mean the graph says it all. Like the graph from your like tracking is just down, flat, up. Like it's bit of a chasm in there.
Yeah, it looked like someone's just been drawing a square wave or something in maths. It was pretty brutal. So yeah, the coming down was it's hard on your shins, and then the going up, we already had a plan for that. So chatting with Gabe, and we said we'd just march up the hill, just to get up to the top, as opposed to try and run up there. And when I got to the top, it was about 19 kilometers in, and just ran for the next mile. But after that, everything just started to really ache. My ankles were aching, my hip had kind of started really aching, my lower back had just completely. It was just telling me it was there, it was existing. And this is the funny bit. If there is such a thing as a funny bit in pain, I reached out to Gabe, just dropped him a few messages saying, dude, have you got any ideas of what I can do to push back past this? It says, I'm just feeling stiff, I'm feeling heavy. It's just not necessarily working the way I thought it would work. And he came back to me, and he pretty much parroted exactly what I said to him the week before. He says, you got to remember, this isn't just a marathon. He says, this is your third marathon in a very short period of time. And even though you've had like a few days to recover, you're not recovered. So this isn't a case of just thinking this is your performance for a marathon. This is actually your performance after 3. So don't worry about it. It says, just try and you walk when you have to, you run when you can, and just keep that process going. And you know what? That's what I did. And the next 3 miles weren't pretty, and then in fact, if you look at my pace, it's all available on the Run for All app. You'll see my pace completely dropped that kind of last 3 miles. Sorry, the 3 miles after it's like 20 to 23,
So
24.
between 20 and 23, yeah.
And then managed to pick it up a little bit further after that, and managed to run in as we were going through Headingley and things, and the crowds were just absolutely amazing. They really were fantastic.
And did you find those crowds like help you spur on those final 3 miles?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the crowds in London were just electric. I mean, don't get me wrong, there was just so many people there, so much going on. But the Yorkshire guys, I mean, the Yorkshire folk really are friendly. I mean,
yeah, definitely. Like, say hi to everybody.
Yeah, we had highs to everybody, high fives, etc. There was people were lining the streets, literally 3-4 deep in most places. We had all the different types of music going on as you're going around. So you had brass bands, steel bands, people with guitars. You had folk singers. There's just a whole variety of activity going on. And then I think the hot weather must have taken the organisers a little bit by surprise, because there wasn't necessarily enough water at the water station. So they were very, very specific about you can only have 1 bottle of water, and very, very draconian about it. And there wasn't, unlike in London, where the London Fire Brigade are kind of putting these water cannons everywhere, which is absolutely fantastic. There wasn't as many opportunities for that. They kind of got sponges and buckets and things available. But again, this is where everybody was just absolutely helping out. Every single house you kind of went past, there was somebody there with a hose pipe or a water pistol, etc. So the whole community, everybody along the route just kind of just chipped in. There was people there with bottles of water, cups of water. There was people there with electrolytes, tons of jelly babies or Haribo. So, I think I probably ate my entire body weight in jelly babies by the end.
Like some roadside assistance. Well, it's very nice to have that sort of community behind it.
Yeah,
everybody out for sure.
An amazing community spirit, and everyone looked like they were having fun as well. So as going along, high-fiving everybody as you can, and you're like hitting the power-ups as you're going through. You got all the really crazy signs and things, and it's like when I got to the top of the Chevy, there was somebody there with a sign that says "You paid to do this." I'm thinking, you didn't need to remind me, but thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Almost like a little celebrity in there.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
we went through Otley, and there's a fair few people there. Which, it just felt like an absolute street party. I mean, everyone's kind of got big buckets of beer. It felt like, and it's almost feeling like should I just stop here and have a beer? It just felt that hot. It was such a beautiful day.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal day. Like weather-wise, maybe if you're not running a marathon.
Yeah, but the smell of barbecue and the several barbecues, it was tempting. I'll tell you, definitely tempting.
Yeah, well, on the topic of food, since we're like at the end of the race in our Tarantino style story at this point, we have talked. This is something I'm interested in. Like we have spoke about it in the past episode, your fueling strategy. How would you say it has developed, if at all, since Marathon 1 in London? Well, yeah, London, then Milton Keynes, then Leeds. Would you say like you've got used to it, or you changed anything, or were you happy with it from the get go? Like,
I think we got it right. So I think the work that Claire Fudge and Gabe, etc., did with me, going through what would fuel, when would fuel, how would fuel, etc., and all of the training runs, the long training runs beforehand to test it out and just see what was working, and actually then getting my GI tract used to that different way of fueling. Just
what's GI? Sorry,
gastrointestinal,
okay.
your stomach.
Right.
So all that lot kind of really did play a difference. So I used the same strategy on every single one of the marathons. This one, and again, this came up from the conversation I had with Gabe when I was like struggling, and he just said, "Look, you've put a lot into it. Says this is the hilliest one out of all of them. So you've probably depleted your energy stores more than normal. So it says just find anything you can to like replenish some of that energy." So, and he says it's just got to be really fast acting carbohydrates though. So it was at that point, it was like eating half a bag of jelly babies and just grabbing hold of some, I think it was Haribo. And somebody had, it was cherry. There were, you remember the cherry Haribos?
Yeah, which ones?
But the ones covered in sugar. They're
like the fizzy ones, the Tangfastic ones.
That's one, Tangfastics. That's the word I was looking for. So I managed to grab a couple of those on route as well.
Oh yeah, whether the giant ones or just the normal size.
Just the normal size one, so maybe one about a couple of centimeters. So
yeah, that's pretty good. So it's kind of like reminding me to use like a metaphor of a car. Like you're just kind of giving yourself like the nitrous hit every time.
Yeah.
Like in a car, like on Need for Speed or something, when they put that button, it's like, it's doing that with the jelly babies.
Yeah, yeah, I can see where you're going.
Not giving it petrol, just giving it fuel.
Yeah, it just needed something to. So, and again, it just highlights the fact that your brain runs on carbohydrates. I mean, that's one of the things, and principally, your body has to metabolize things in such a way to be able to create them when it doesn't have them, even if it does it from things like ketones, etc. So, when you're in that position where you've not got enough, then that's when all the dark thoughts can come out. That's when everything kind of works against you. That's when you want to give up. It makes you feel more tired, more fatigued. It makes everything ache just that little bit more. And when you're in those moments, you don't necessarily always think straight in a way that says, go eat jelly babies, but just sending a message out to somebody and say, this is how I'm feeling. They have that clarity of thought because, they're not in that moment second in time.
Yeah, that's good actually, getting an external perspective.
Yeah, so that was really cool. But again, and that's the power of having that network of people around you, isn't it? So if you've got some great friends, some great people who've got some fabulous experience and knowledge as well, and know-how, then it means it'll work.
Yeah, awesome. Right, now my next question is, how did you cross the line? Because in London, you jumped over it. I've seen the footage. Milton Keynes, I believe you just ran across it, but I've not actually seen the footage for the end of the Leeds one.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the camera footage to come from the official photographers, etc. I think we have got a clip that was sent through, and I did jump over it this time.
Yeah,
I did. Again, it felt like I was about 8 miles high. I think it was maybe about 3 centimeters off the ground, but I don't care. It was a jump, whichever way I look at it.
Yeah, and a journey. That's for sure. Like, it is so incredible that you actually. I mean, I never had any doubt that you'd complete it, but that's not to say that it wasn't like a challenging thought. Like, just the short recovery gaps was the biggie there, but you managed to pull through. Because if you was in this state after the first one, there's no chance. If you was in this state after the second one, there's not much of a chance. And if you had one next weekend, I think that would maybe be off the cards.
No, next weekend's going to be slightly quieter. I think we've got a local village fair we're going to up in Acaster, which will be really nice. Some music, etc. is happening there. And then on the Sunday, we're going to head over to Wales. We're going to do a 6 mile hike, just a circular hike, fairly lowlands. Maybe do a bit of wild swimming. We'll see.
Yeah, that'll be enjoyable.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean the rest of the route. I mean the organisation. It was interesting. I think getting into the stadium was probably the most secure, even more secure than for what London was. I mean, there was bag searches going on. I saw some of the other runners had things like their sun cream confiscated or bottles confiscated, etc. So that felt really, really quite draconian, really oppressive. And I was kind of thinking, was someone had like a bomb scare or something? I don't know. It was like really weird trying to get it even to the start. But then once you kind of through that piece and you're in the crowds, it was really organised. The bags went into like a baggage area. You kind of had a nice wander through underneath the cricket grounds to the starting area. I had to ask the officials once or twice for directions because, again, some of the signage wasn't quite there with regards to pointing you to, this is the assembly area, and you can get very disorientated quite quickly because when you're going through the stadium, you can kind of get turned backwards a few times. So that was a bit weird and interesting. But kind of once we got to the assembly area and then started to work our way to the starts, yeah, it was really nice. Lots of really nice people, lots of beautiful conversations. Some of the people are on their first marathon, so they were kind of really excited for it and a bit apprehensive could they actually complete it. A few other people are there. They've kind of done so many marathons. This was like just like a walk in the park for them. It wasn't like much of a big issue.
Was there a Leeds half as well?
There was Leeds half. So that was setting off half an hour after the marathon started.
So is everyone who's doing the half and the full all in the area together?
No, they're kind of
two different bullpens.
Kind of two. Well, there was the one bullpen, but there was only letting people through from the marathon into the start area.
It's like tiered, kind of.
Yeah, and the commentator was turning around and saying, if you're in the half marathon and you're in the assembly area right now, you're probably going to get a very horrible surprise.
Right. Yeah.
And I can appreciate that. You kind of get 7 miles in, and suddenly you've got to. You've got another 19 miles to go. I can imagine that would be a bit of a shock.
Yeah, it's no joke, that.
Yeah, so that was quite fun. And then we went through the start, and yeah, the crowds just carry you straight away. It was a nice run up to the university, and then past down towards central Leeds, and then pretty much it was just a straight run then all the way across Otley Road. Through Headingley, through Addle, went down the back of Goldenacre Park. And you know what? A number of times I've driven around there, taking you guys around it when you were younger. And
and I've also done like the Otley Run where they all open, handing beers out.
Not to the runners though. Let's just get that one right.
Okay.
And that was interesting. I think there was a lady outside the Sky Rack who had a sign that said, "This is not the Otley Run I remember."
Right, yeah.
I was thinking you remember an Otley Run for a start off, but that's the difference. For those of you that are not aware, the Otley Run is a pub crawl that's usually done by university students. I think there's more pubs along that run than probably there are houses, I think.
Yeah, it's a ruthless one.
Yeah, so yeah, that was quite interesting. But yeah, so I kind of realised that how hilly it was around the back of Goldenacre Park. So that was a bit uppy and a bit downy. And then we came back up to Bramhope, and then literally that's when it took the run down the Chevin. And as we're kind of going down there, really nice, lots of shade, lots of nice. It was like an avenue of trees it was going through, which was really beautiful. No, much more beautiful. And then you just had all the kind of views out over the Yorkshire countryside. You had like sheep's one side, cows and horses in the other side, etc. And in fact, speaking of cows, so I got to the bottom of the hill onto Arthington Lane, and all of a sudden I got this, move out of the way, we're coming through, cows coming through, move in. And it's like, okay, what's going on here? And literally like 3 guys in inflatable cow costumes come kind of running in unison. It was really impressive. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this was what, 12 miles in or something. I was feeling quite tired by this point. And these guys were really motivated. And they were just part of a relay team. And they kept doing that all the way around. So that was quite really cool to watch.
So they were not running a marathon individually. They were kind of like passing the baton on. Someone else would go, someone else would go, someone else would go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was the beautiful part of it. There was so many different events kind of happening at the same time. You had people doing the halves, people doing the full, people doing the relay teams, etc. But the camaraderie and everybody being around was just lovely.
Yeah, that's all. That's a cool concept. Did they have relays in the other two, or is this like a?
They probably did. I probably wasn't as attuned to it because they didn't have like inflatable cows running past where
Right,
and I was kind of pondering how on earth could you run in an inflatable cow costume and
Yeah,
look
can't
so
ignore that one.
fresh and powerful? It's like, oh my god, maybe I need an inflatable cow costume next time.
Maybe, but I think you'd be hot.
I think I would be hot. I mean, that was
Yeah.
a really hot day.
I mean, we were discussing at the meal last night to celebrate, like what you might perhaps wear if you ever did do fancy dress. But I don't think we actually got very far. But the inflatable cow could be the one.
I said a Hawaiian grass skirt. That's where I went. We're not doing any of these big costumes that's going to make you really hot. That's not happening. I mean,
You want it, but so the cow I think would be pretty hot.
I think the cow.
You could stick an udder on your chest.
When I was chatting to the Rhino guys in London, that kind of told me straight away how hot and hats off to those guys. They really do put themselves through hell to support that cause. And then Chris the Rhino was there and got his world record as well at Leeds. I think he's done, what is it, 125 times in the Rhino costume marathons?
I'm not too sure of this fella.
Yeah, so that was quite impressive. But yeah, when I saw the Rhino in London Marathon at by mile 24 and just got the grunt back from him, he was just exhausted, bless him. And about the same space, I actually chatted to the guy that was in the London Eye costume. I was asking about it, and he just said that was such a bad idea. He said it was kind of rubbing in all the wrong places.
Oh dear.
So yeah, I think if I'm going to do a costume, it's going to have to be something light and airy. It cannot be anything
Just need
too
something
big.
with holes. Maybe run as a cheese grater.
As a cheese grater. Oh dear God. Love it. Okay, so anyway, there's never say never. That's one of the main things here.
Oh, I wonder if you could go as a bicycle, but on the bicycle. That might make it a bit easier.
I think that might be cheating.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's definitely cheating.
I don't know. I'd say it's a grey area.
I think there's rules about that one. We'll have to look at the rules. Maybe that's something we should do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was good actually seeing the guys actually come through. And again, that's probably why I was a bit more alert to the fact that it was a relay race coming through, because I was kind of really curious how they could be so fresh and so powerful coming through, and everyone else was like me. Everyone was getting tired,
especially in the heat.
Yeah. And thankfully there was a bit more of a breeze, and you didn't have quite the big buildings, so it didn't quite feel like you were going in front of the oven door on Christmas Day, as it did going through towards the Limehouse Tunnel in London. But still, that is a hot weather, and the hill is definitely hard.
Yeah, like the straw that broke the camel's back, probably.
Yeah, you're probably right. But got to the top and was still able to run for the next mile, and before the kind of wheels came off the cart a little bit, and
then message game, and then we're back where we were at the start.
yeah. So just proves what you need. You need some good friends, some good support, some good mindset, good nutrition, good training.
And let's talk about the accolades that you've got throughout this. So clearly 3 marathon medals, because you've got all 3 of them. Also Guinness World Record holder now. It's pretty cool as a result of it. And I guess also a personal record holder.
My own personal best, yes.
Your own personal best. In it. Which was your fastest London when you were fresh?
Yes.
Sorry, I'd definitely be interested to see the one in October when it's a bit cooler, and you've also not had other marathons to tire out, and you've already done them. I wonder how your time will be affected.
I'm interested in that as well, especially given the fact that my training runs my half marathon kind of speed gives me the ability to maybe get a 4:40 or certainly a sub 5 hour. I'll be really intrigued to see if we can manage that. So that's again why I'm not turning the training off. It'll be continuing to train all the way through summer, getting ready for that really, and just
and that'll be a bit of endurance training in the heat. Because I've been training for 14 months for this, so you have already ran through a summer, but I guess not to the same ability.
No, because if you think about it, when so I was starting running end of February last year, so February, March, April would have been winter, but it's winter. It's England.
But it's a 50-50 if it's winter or not. It might randomly be 26 degrees.
Yeah, and then we had so after that, we had the May, June, July, August, which was relatively hot. I mean, it wasn't the
It
hottest.
wasn't the hottest summer, no. Like
So
this summer's feeling hot.
Yeah, definitely hotter than it has been. And then we were straight back into glorious winter, really, from September onwards. Well, actually, about November, December when it really got cold.
Yeah, and it was was it a mild winter? That's a bit hard to tell. It wasn't bitterly cold, but it was just quite damp, but that's just winter.
Yeah, I'm going to say damp would be a good word for it. It wasn't overly freezing or anything.
Yeah, and it's just incredible because you just settle into winter and forget summer's going to come, and then like it's here and it's boiling.
Yeah,
like it's a hot day today, and I can see how that would affect your performance because you're basically training in one sort of environment and then switching it up because it was not that hot until you started running. I don't think.
Yeah,
like I think the pivot point of the weather changing was literally the past like month.
Yeah,
like the bit where you've been running. So I
said, "Oh, you're gonna go do a marathon, are you? Take this heat, will you?"
Yeah, turn the temperature right up. So yeah, I'll be interested to see what that's like after the hot training through the summer, where you'll be running more than you were last summer, and then also you now have the knowledge that you can complete not just one marathon but also 3. So you'll be feeling probably more mentally prepared for it. Like it's a walk in the park when you don't, because you can run it because as well you're holding yourself back to prevent injury, which you should still do, by the way, but not like knowing that you don't have to do another 2 afterwards probably means you can push yourself that bit more.
Yeah, and that's what I did in Leeds. I kind of pushed it through everything that I had at it, thinking I don't have another marathon, so it's okay if I get that a little bit more tired, if I get more fatigued, etc. There is not another one coming up. But even throwing everything at it, it was it was.
But as Gabe said, you'd already ran 2, so it's a little bit different. Would you say that approach has been good? Because you do seem a lot more achy after this one. Or do you think that's just because it's hard to tell in isolation from the other ones. You haven't done anything in isolation yet.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one because if I'd been given the choice, I wouldn't have done this the way I have done it. I think that's the be all and end all of that one.
But as in like doing one after the other.
Yeah. So even if, looking back, would I have done a marathon in the first place? I did it because I was kind of supporting Moses originally, because we both put the vote into the ballot. And then it was really because Gabe says, "Well, do you want to really do it one and we'll go do Milton Keynes?" And I was thinking, well, why not? Let's give it a try. And the idea was just do the one marathon. So my plan was just to see if I could do it. That was the idea. So we did the idea was do the 10K in York, do 10 miler in York, then try and get into a half marathon earlier in the year. So I applied for the Brass Monkeys one, but I didn't get in, unfortunately. And then to move to do the marathon as a race in Milton Keynes. So that was the kind of plan when we hatched it in May last year. So there's never an intention to do 3 or an intention to do 3 back to back.
Yeah, I guess it kind of helps it just happened because, as you say, you'd never make this decision. Like sort of the universe made the decision for you in a way, and then like once it's like it was set. Well, I guess it wasn't set in stone. You could have backed out, but like as you said in past episodes and throughout the training and stuff, that it held you accountable to it, and you didn't really have a choice but to get it done. And like I think it's awesome. I'm pretty proud you managed to like pull through that. And yeah, I like it. I hadn't thought of it. I haven't framed it from that perspective of the fact that you wouldn't have chosen this option.
Yeah, and I think this is the difference between sometimes you get things happen in life, and actually it's how you address them and what you actually do with it. So if you get an opportunity to do something like this, some people would say, no, it's too big, it's too much, it's too whatever. And actually sometimes you can just say, okay, let's give it a go, see what happens. What's the worst that could have happened? I would have done London and maybe not been able to do Milton Keynes or not being able to do Leeds. And it's not a big thing. It's still trying.
Yeah, this is it. Like on reflection, now that it's all over, like would you say you ever had any element of doubt at any point in the journey? Like obviously at the time, like if you do have that element of self-doubt, you just got to turn it off because you need to push through. As you say, if you fail, that's okay. Like it's fine to fail as long as you've tried.
Yeah. But
did you ever, now it's all over, did you have any element of self-doubt at any point?
Oh, loads of it all the way through. Crumbs, let's go back. Even doing the 10K. So I was doing I was at an event in Crown Plaza, Felbridge, near Gatwick with Gabe. And I was doing like running for 5K, and this was May last year. And he literally, he was just about to go on and do his run, which was going to be more than 5K. And he said, "Oh, you need to turn around now, 2.5K." I said, "Well, let's just see how far we can get on, because I can always turn around a little bit later on." And that was the first time I did 10K. But as soon as I'd done 10K in practice, it became, do it. It's not a big issue. I've suddenly broken that psychological barrier. So then the next barrier was the 10 miler. So to be able to get over that, I did it was with your mum. So I did a park run. So I ran to park run, did the park run, ran back from park run, and then added on a few kilometers to make it 16 kilometers. And then that was it. It was suddenly, oh, I can do 10 miles now. That's easy enough. And then when it was to do the half marathon distance, it was when I was working down in London near Heathrow. And basically I thought, okay, well, let's go out for a morning run. I'm going to go run around Heathrow. And I'd got my mileage wrong. So I thought the run around Heathrow was going to be pretty much 21 kilometers, and it isn't. It's not quite that far.
Oh, so you hadn't actually done the half.
I had to add some more on. So I did do the half, but I had to add some more on to make that.
Is this half before you'd signed up for all these marathons?
No, it's after.
You'd already signed up for them?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's amazing, like, the speed of the progress, like, because again, like, I reckon, well, I don't know this, but like, if you'd been given the option of when to start, I guess you'd have picked maybe even a later date as well.
Well, I think there's the old Robinson's law, isn't there, that no matter what activity you do, whatever amount of time you give it, that's the amount of time it's going to take.
Yeah, me and my girlfriend talk about this all the time.
Yeah. So if you want to do something and you give it 18 months, it'll take you 18 months. If you want to do it in 12 months, it'll take you 12 months.
Is it like stuff expands to the space provider or something like that?
That's the Ben Elton version, I think. Although I didn't use the word stuff, but it did begin with an S. I do find it's a little bit more impactful when you say it that way. So I think there is a margin of that. I mean, don't get me wrong, there is also some mechanical items in there that you do have to be attuned to. So, for example, to retrain your gut to eat something different and to be able to take nutrition at its most optimal way, it takes you 12 to 16 weeks to retrain your gut. It's non-negotiable. Same, for example, if you're looking to change the way your body works. So I've did a lot of strength and conditioning training, but not a lot of endurance training. And that would take at least another like 12, 16 weeks to convert my body to become more used to it. And that plays out when you look back at all of the figures, all the tracking, etc., that we did, all of the work. It is pretty much been exactly like that. So just after Christmas, we started doing the change for the fueling and getting the fueling strategy right. And it wasn't really until we ended at end of March that the fueling strategy had got right. And actually, I didn't have to make any more changes. And I stopped getting that feeling where, because if you remember when I was trying to get this fueling strategy right, and we had that really bad feeling in my stomach every time I was running, it was feeling like I was just being percussively hit in the stomach.
Like a brick in a washing machine.
Yeah, that is a really good analogy, actually. And again, chatting with Claire and with Gabe, it was a case of, well, you just have to get used to it. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And then once you're kind of into that position, then actually it was working. Okay, I knew I was going to have a measurement of discomfort, but actually throughout the period, it's become easier. Now, for example, I have the oats about 3 hours before I start running, which was the same as when I started, but my body's got used to it now, and it kind of deals with it. I think the digestion's actually got faster for it. And same with, for example, when you look back over the actual running journey, when I started in February, I hated running. It was awful. It was painful. It was not comfortable in any way, shape, or form. And it took 3 months before I actually became something that I was enjoying, something that my body didn't feel as achy or as shocked.
And would you say you truly enjoy it now? Like when you go out for a run, you're like, oh, I'm looking forward to this run.
Yeah.
For the most part, I'm not, because obviously no matter what you do, there's probably going to be 1 or 2 times. Like there's going to be like sometimes when, even if you love it, you don't want to do it. Yeah, it happens. But like overall, you would say like, oh, run time, like it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I enjoy it. And I enjoy the fact that I've managed to find a nice routine where it kind of works with my life as well. So the morning routine, it's all about working with my clients, etc. It's about getting my hour in for weight training and things. It's about getting my nutrition right. It's then about setting myself up for the rest of the working day. And then lunchtime. So that's when I like stop. I go for a run, come back, refuel, and then I'm ready for the afternoon. And that just now having that extra break in the middle really makes a big difference. Not just from
so freeing for your mind.
Exactly. That's exactly it. It just gives the mind more space,
which is needed, because then you do have a more productive day. So it's good that you found that thing that was perhaps missing before.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is, I never even realized it was missing.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
That's even more crazy.
Because, for example, I would have taken the dogs out before, and so it would still have got outside. I would still be stretching the horizon. Because for many people, your horizon doesn't go much beyond the half a meter to a meter in front of you, wherever the laptop really lives. And if you don't get to stretch your horizon that little bit further, then it can be fairly oppressive.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Like, you need it. Like, even just having an injured ankle, like just getting out on the crutches or something, it really does reset the mind a bit.
Yeah, you have been a bit of a bear with a sore head, we know.
Yes. Pretty uncool.
But it's not forever. That's the key thing.
No. I'm actually resting, so that's good. Before we hit the mic there. Before we probably wrap things up, I did have another question. That was actually just exiting my mind. Please talk about something while that comes back. I just had one of those like mind phase moments.
Well, we all have moments.
Fluttered away.
Definitely. I think that's worse when you get older as well. So don't.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's
man,
good.
what's my question? You're gonna have to fill a void with something. Oh, I've remembered it. Right. So I was wondering how this is going to affect your training going forward, in terms of, because before all this running became proper serious, like for you, it was all about the resistance training. And yeah, like, are you going to just train both? Because obviously, like, if you do train both, you're probably not going to get optimum results for both. But are you going to still do it so you can keep your routine? Is that like more important to you? Are you going to focus more primarily on running and just work out a bit, or switch it back?
I'm never going to be an optimum athlete, whichever route I take. So I'm not built like a Usain Bolt or a Eliud Kipchoge or a Michael Phelps or I'm just not built in that way. I'm never going to get the muscles of an Arnold Schwarzenegger or someone like that. So that's not what I'm looking for, and never has been.
So you're just retaining balance in your life.
Yeah. So for me, doing the gym workouts, going for runs, etc., it's all to support my life and who I am and what I'm trying to achieve in life. So I'll still do the weight training in the morning. I really enjoy it. I know that this is going to have not only benefits for me right now, but it's going to have massive benefits as I get older as well. Plus, the benefits that I have not only are just personal, but the benefits that I get right now also can help me professionally. So it gives me the energy, it gives me the focus, the clarity, etc. It stops me just constantly working, which is never healthy, because sometimes you need to take that break for your brain to actually process what's going on, for you to come back with better ideas.
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. Like, it's so important. There's no point just sitting there working, because you'll be working, but not at your optimum.
Yeah.
It's pointless.
And I think we've seen that. So since, obviously it started the whole transformational journey back in 2014. But even back then, the first 5 years, which I classify as being in the desert looking for an answer, because nothing was working. It wasn't until I kind of really put that effort into to sort out the scheduling and sort out the tracking and sort out actually all those other things that people don't really talk about, that actually made the big difference. So the mechanical bits everyone talks about, movement, so you're exercising the right way, whether it's strength training, resistance training, endurance training, aerobic, whatever, it's going to be cardio. And there's lots and lots of different people talking about that. Lots of people talk about things like meditation and yoga and things. And so again, there's lots of kind of noise around those elements of it, and they're really important to do so. Same, for example, with your nutrition. It's really important to get your nutrition right. But actually, that's only part of the story. That's like half of it, realistically. And if you haven't kind of dealt with the other half, if you haven't dealt with things like controlling your mind and getting it to work for you, become your best supporter. If you haven't worked on actually, what you're supposed to monitor, what you're supposed to track, what actually the answers are, what when you actually want to take action and what actions you should be taking off the back of them, or even thinking about, what's the kind of methodology you're building for your life so you make it as easy as you possibly can so that you can get the maximum benefits in there. That these elements have as crucial an impact on making sure that you get the best benefits out of it as the rest.
Yeah, that was a really nice way to put it, actually. I like that.
Nice one. And likewise, we've really enjoyed being on the show. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. And a big thank you for taking the time out to listen to this episode of the Fit for Business and Life podcast. The Fit for Business and Life podcast is brought to you in partnership with Sharp Fit for Life and the Business Body Network, helping busy professionals and their teams become healthier, happier, and more higher achieving in business and in life. If you'd like to join us as a guest or get in touch to know more about the topics we covered, then we'd love to hear from you. Simply email hello@sharpfitforlife.com. Once again, thank you for listening to the Fitness and Life the Fit for Business and Life podcast. The Fit for Business and Life podcast has been produced and presented by Wax Tie Limited. All copyright is applied.
Amazing. Well, congratulations once again. Absolutely smashed it.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye for now.